Hello everyone, I'm bringing you a video today looking at some recently arrived Gulf War bits and pieces. So this is a bit of a miscellany really, there's some uniform items here, some insignia and other bits and pieces. I was going to do an unboxing video, but basically these bits and pieces arrived sort of piecemeal or dribs and drabs from different sellers, and a lot of them were just packaged in plastic bags, so there would have just been a lot of rustling and so forth as I actually opened them on the video. So what I've done is I've unpackaged all these, put them together, and we're going to have a look by way of a sort of kit update at these recently arrived items. So we'll have a look at these in some detail now. So here we have the various bits and pieces I wanted to talk about. As I say, it's just a quick update video really, so we'll run through these bits and pieces relatively quickly. First of all, we'll talk about the insignia. So we have first of all 7th and 4th Armoured Brigade badges of the time. The 7th Armoured Brigade badge is basically, well, it's a right-hand face, both of them are right-hand facing, which is generally different to those issued today. Generally, the ones issued today, those issued today for wear on combat uniform are left-facing because they're worn on the left sleeve. And generally, the jibboa should face forward. And it's also more of an orange tone at this time for the 7th Armoured badge, as you can see. Hopefully the light's showing that clearly enough. They're a very bright red now. The thread used is a very bright red, whereas at this period it's more of an orange tone, as you can see here. So we have those two there. This is quite nice. It still has the vocab number and so forth on the back there, and I believe that's the last part of the stores code. So that's really quite nice to have. And then we have two of the Command Badge of the Logistics Command and the NBC Command badges there, the Blackadder, and obviously you've got the NBC insignia there with the palm tree, and they're on a sand background, the insignia of the time. And then we have here 4 quite interesting badges which were introduced for various batteries, I think primarily a 40 Field Regiment RA, and each of these is relevant to the specific battery that they were issued to. So we've China Battery, Seringapatam Battery, Aceh Battery and Java Battery, and these are seen worn to some degree, certainly on brassards. I've seen I think a couple of Lance Bombardiers in a photograph. They're actually talking to John Major, and one of them I think is wearing the Seringapatam badge. So introduced for use in the Gulf. I'm not sure if they predate the Gulf. My understanding with these is that they were introduced to instill a bit of esprit de corps and so forth, but very nice to have. Certainly you do see occasional use of these out in the Gulf. You do see them worn to some degree, so very nice to have nice additions to the collection as always. We'll start with the green clothing over here. Next we have a Tor t-shirt which I got from Cito Militare, I believe, the 22 Field Hospital Group Gulf Tour 1990 to 1990 question mark, of course. Going out there, didn't know how long they would be out there. And then we have obviously the Made in England logo on the tag there, washing instructions and so forth. But quite a nice thing to have. I didn't have any of these previously. There were various t-shirts made for different units in the Gulf. So it's nice to have this as a sort of a start to that collection. Some of them could be quite expensive. This one wasn't. So I'll just keep an eye out going forward at shows and things. You never know. They may turn up. So that'll be certainly not intending to wear that regularly and launder it and so forth. Obviously already the printing is beginning to fade somewhat already, so this will be carefully stored away and displayed on occasion. So happy to have that. Another very simple thing I wanted to pick up, and these not expensive, still being sold surplus basically, is a correct period one-piece overall, which we have here, which has various interesting details. Obviously press studs throughout. We have press stud epaulets on the shoulders there, breast pocket there with a pointed pocket flap. Just have a quick look at the label in this here. It's the nomenclature is coveralls men's green army pattern as opposed to RAF pattern. And then you have who also had green overalls, and you've got the size there of 180, 100, made by Remploy, and the contract number there SL31B2647. So commonly worn in the Gulf by REME, armoured troops and so forth, for performing maintenance tasks and so forth. This is a little bit work stained, but ideal from that point of view. It's my size, so it may well get worn as an event at some point in the future. So as I say, I think about £8, there's something like that with plus postage, basically still being sold as surplus, but it is part of that Gulf War era kit, so quite nice to have from that point of view. I'll just spread out the Desert DPM now so you can see perhaps a little bit more clearly, we have a regular Desert DPM shirt here and the so-called quote-unquote sparse pattern. It's a collectorism really, but the more widely spaced Desert DPM print, which was produced for some time, and you see, I think these are Compton and Webb. Most of the sparse clothing seems to be J. Compton Sons and Webb Limited. Yeah, you can see there, they're in my size. So I do already have a pair of these, but they were listed on eBay, not particularly well in terms of noting that they were this particular print, or even that they were Gulf War. And I spotted them and put a bid on and ended up winning them. So I have these added to the collection as well. Rather nice to have. They're in good condition, as you can see. So very pleased with those. And if I open them up a bit wider, you can see the wider spacing of the print there compared to the shirt, which is just the normal print of cloth. The shirt is just a nice clean example of the Gulf War era desert shirt. And you can see here details on the label. You can just see the manufacturer there, Supercraft Garments Limited. I have shirts already, but this was a good price and is in quite nice condition, so decided to pick it up. I've had several Gulf War era shirts already, but as I say, if you see them at a good price, they're worth picking up. They're getting more desirable. And the final thing is it's a civilian item that I wanted to add to sort of small kit, and it is a Vivitar 110 film camera. So these were quite common at the time. Indeed, I've seen a photograph of this exact model in use, and they're nice and slim and sort of portable. They don't take particularly good photographs, but as a point and shoot camera, they're fine. And they have a battery compartment obviously here to power the flash, the built-in flash. And then if I remember correctly, you just slide the back open to get at the, just take this out of shot for one moment so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Just slide the back open to put the film cartridge in here. And then you've got the viewfinder down the middle there, and you've got two options of lens. You have a normal, quote, telephoto lens there, so that just slides across like that. So very simple point and shoot camera. I believe Vivitar, they were made in China, wrist strap on the end there, and certainly a type of camera which was carried and used at the time. So just something to add to Soldier Small Kit, basically. So that's the run through this Gulf War kit, Gulf War era kit, and obviously sort of accessories which have arrived recently. So I hope you found it interesting looking at this. There's nothing particularly unusual or particularly rare here, but nevertheless, hopefully it's been interesting having a look at this by way of a sort of kit update. I don't make videos like that very often. Generally, if I say I'll do an unboxing video if I'm going to look at a batch of stuff that's arrived, but this is really more of a kit update. These bits and pieces have arrived over the last few weeks, and I put them together for the video here. So nevertheless, hopefully it's been interesting looking at them. If you have found this interesting and you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below. That will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below in the description. And as I always say, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using both of those methods. It's really greatly appreciated, as I always say. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.